Peace, peace. Another glorious day, y'all. Another glorious day. I hope everything good with you and yours. I arrived to the park late tonight, so let's just get right to it, all right? I'm gonna start off with some of these pull-ups, these Australians. Um, as a matter of fact, let me wait for the gentleman to finish over here. And I got a different type of appetite today, you heard? So I got a different type of appetite today. Let me just show you before I explain what's going on here. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna get straight to it like this. You are. Let's do it like this. You know what I mean? Actions speak louder than words. So we're gonna do it like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get up on this bar today, and so that's what's taking place. We're gonna go behind the neck with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna do. I've been on the pull-up mania lately. Meaning, I mean, since last week, I just been on this pull-up extravaganza, if that's the right term. I'm just referencing that into just wanting to do so many pull-ups, which is just a wonderful feeling. Again, this is my favorite exercise. I had to claim it as my favorite, above all, because again, it's nothing like pulling up that body weight. It's really nothing compared to like pulling up that body weight. I get it, hitting heavy weight, and there's so many different things that are others, you know what I'm saying, top of the list or favorite way of doing or exercise, you know what I mean? But mine's is the pull-ups. But anyway, that's what we're gonna start off with. I'm gonna go behind the neck today. This is what's been asked of me by way of the body. So, I'm gonna feed it, you know what I mean? So I know you got a good view from here. So let's get right to it. Let's complete that. I'm running late today, like I said. So let me just get right to it, and I'm gonna get as much as I can while the sun is still, you know. So that was a nice three. So this is not was, but I say was because those who are you know familiar with my situation, with my arm, right? But yeah, I used to do behind the neck a lot. You know what I'm saying? When it came to these pull-ups, you know what I'm saying? Post surgery. So you know, um, again, this is a gradual process of me, arriving back at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so excited to share that today, especially because this is what the body was asking for. The set I just did felt great. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to it. You know what I mean? Word. I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit. I'm gonna go. Right now, let me get this set of the behind the neck. So I'm gonna, see how it go. That was nice. That was nice. So I'm gonna incorporate some other exercise. Like I said, let me get in my groove, but I feel fantastic today. You know, um, Today is Thursday, end of the week. I worked out a little bit yesterday, actually. It was sort of, not even sort of, it was an active rest day. Just some of my personal time to myself. I did a little abs. I did some Australians, actually. You know what I'm saying? Nothing much, though. I didn't do much. And that's just a sort of way to break the ice, for the up and coming weekend. You know what I'm saying? I didn't work out Monday and Tuesday. You know what I mean? Well earned, of course. So I'm back at it now. And again, what better way to get back at it than, you know what I'm saying? One of my favorite ways of performing these pull-ups, So yeah. Let me get a few push-ups in, you know what I'm saying? Just to, break up the tension in the back, and I'm gonna get right back to those. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely out here because I'm gonna be on that pull-up bar for sure. So salute to everybody. Hope everything good with you and yours. I'm not even sure if I even said that in my introduction of the video. So if I did not make mention of that, I did now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get it. Let's go. Yeah, on that type of time. So yeah, we out here, y'all. Um, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The body's responding the way I want it to, and that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? That makes us more enthusiastic with our work, and just increases, that beyond satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's hit some push-ups, and we're gonna get right back to that pull-up bar, and that's how I'm feeling today. You know what I mean? It's an incredible feeling. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So what I'm doing is I'm starting off with that 20 count. Um, like I said, I'm gonna see how it goes, but I don't want to burn out. I don't want to take away from the pull-ups. So I want to, like I said, in between these sets with the pull-ups, the push-ups, put some attention on the chest. But I really want to focus on those pull-ups behind the neck. And uh, I'm ecstatic right now. As calm as I am, on the inside, it's just like, yes. You know what I mean? I'm screaming, you know what I'm saying, with excitement. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how working out should be. You know what I'm saying? You should be excited, you know? All the pain and, everything that you do to push to being a better version of you and to elevate and to reach, you know, elevated levels in this way of life. You know what I mean? You still have to, tap into, I mean, as always, but, still represent that joy. At least I do, So, yeah, talk about it. Let's get it. So we back behind the neck again. So I'm going to be here for a while, y'all. I'm telling you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, that was a nice 5. That was a nice 5 right there. You better believe it. That was a nice 5. And when you do this type of exercise, behind the neck, you can't have shoulder issues, and it's an advanced way to do it per se. It's not complicated, but you definitely got to be comfortable. Really have your mind aligned with performing the pull-ups in that fashion, for real. You know what I mean? But it has incredible benefits, incredible. You know what I mean? It really targets that chest, pardon me, that back, and it targets, you know, that clavicle, that scap, everything in that upper region. You know what I mean? Just puts a hell of a just emphasis on that back. You know what I mean? In terms of the, the targeting that, back muscle, you know? Yeah, that type of time. Sure. Let's get right back up there. Let's get it. Ah. Let me get back up there. I just want to redo that set, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Just getting acclimated with it, you know what I mean? Even with those 2 I just did, it felt great, but I could have felt better. So, as I've mentioned before, if you need to reset and redo, what you're, feel that you need to reposition yourself, don't hesitate. Just do that, So, let's get it. With that being said. All right, this is going to be a better one. I can feel it. Ah. And I'm not forcing it. You know, as I always mention, you know, the reps, the control, everything got to be clean. And you can see that, which is obvious. You know what I'm saying? You can see the control. And even with the few reps, that in itself are very, very effective. You know what I'm saying? So it's great work. So let's get back to those pull-ups. Excuse me. Pardon me. Those push-ups. You know, that excitement got me saying the wrong things, but that's a good thing. You know? Sure. Let's bring this down a notch so you could get that view of me doing those push-ups. So we in the building, y'all. Springtime. It's a beautiful day out. It was absolutely gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? So it's that time of the year. The year is still early, still very fresh. You know, still, you know, just so much time to take advantage of with this beautiful weather. We all been waiting. I know that. So, yeah, here we go. Let's get these push-ups in. We're going to get right back to that pull-up bar behind the neck. Yes, indeed. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so I could have did more. But again, like, I don't want to max out on the push-ups and take away from those pull-ups. You know, so my focus is right now is to save a lot of energy or save a lot of, yeah, not just energy per se, but save a lot of muscle power, for lack of a better term, for those pull-ups behind the neck. So it's not just the energy or strength or just, you know, that good, uh, you know, just that appetite. You know, I want to keep that appetite going for the back, behind the neck. So, you know, like I said, I'm not maxing out with the push-ups. Let's get right back to that ball, y'all. You see the green light is on. What I did was with the microphone today, I just put it on like a very thin string, so you don't have to hear that clicking from that first video I did with my first usage. You live and you learn, right? So, yeah, we don't have to be distracted with, or you, for that matter, have to be distracted with that sound. You know what I'm saying? By way of hearing this footage. So I want to be able to give you that clear delivery, right? So we getting behind the neck again. Let's go. Let's get it. Ah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah. Ah, not quite 6, but it was close to it. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And as so with the reps I've already done, let's bring this down a notch. So anyway, yeah. So with the reps already done already, I mean, that was roughly about what? I did about 5 reps each set on the pull-ups behind the neck. That's already 15. It all adds up. And, you know, the thing about that too, when you hitting those pull-ups behind the neck, you know, we're talking about your body weight. I mean, listen, that way of performing pull-ups again, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? We're talking about pulling your entire body weight with your hands behind your neck, okay? So it's something to get used to. So, you know, if you're not comfortable with it, take your time. But if you want to experience, if you want a new experience as far as targeting your back, you know, and it's a great way to really put more definition on that back. It's really gonna sculpt that back. I promise you. All right, let's get back up there. Ah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah. All right. So my cushion came off of the mic, but you know what? We're gonna keep it moving. I can't let that stop me. You know, still doing this thing. So I don't want to lose it though. But we can't let that stop me. So yeah, the show must go on, y'all. And you know, I'm still growing my confidence for this mic, even though I know it's doing what it's supposed to do. You know, again, still very new to me. You know what I'm saying? For talking just directly in the camera for pretty much, I mean, my entire time doing, you know, my videos. So I know that we in a good space, you know, so the show must go on. Let's get it. That set was interrupted. It psychologically threw me off because I seen that piece fall off. So let's get right back up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite 6, but close to it. Gee whiz. What a pull. What a pull. You know? Yeah, what a pull. Wow. That was phenomenal. Yes, it was. Felt great. You know, nothing feeling aggravated, you know, and none of that. You know what I'm saying? You don't, again, you have to be well, you know, aligned with performing this type of way of doing pull-ups, you heard? Sure. So I'm gonna break it up just a tad. I'm gonna go overhand, underhand, just to do something different, but I'm giving that a lot of attention today, you know? So again, I'm not doing or pushing to do too many reps with anything else. My main concern is to save, you know, some muscle power for that behind the neck pull-up, as I keep mentioning, you know? So, yeah. This is a big, this is a huge milestone for me, y'all. I mean, and I've done this on the channel a couple of times behind the neck. I did it on the channel behind the neck a couple of times, you know, but today is different. Today is different. I could confidently say that this is a more advanced point that I arrived to in terms of feeling from this point going forward that I will be able to start performing these more often. Again, dealing with this nerve damage because I'm still dealing with nerve damage, right? But my hands have gotten stronger and they are continuously getting stronger. You know what I'm saying? Day by day. And so I never know what to expect when I arrive to the park, as I've mentioned before, in terms of how my body will respond to what it is I expect. So let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. 7. Not quite, but damn, we're there. Wow. Wow. We are there. Wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to seeing this footage after I cut this camera off, and, you know, and that will further increase my enthusiasm and, you know, just being proud of myself, you know, because with this situation, and this is just a constant reminder to myself, these moments, you know, and many a moments it has been throughout these years post-surgery, is that if I never, you know, just keep, stay the course and keep doing what I'm doing, I would have cheated myself, you know. Let's get it though, y'all. Let's hit these underhands, break it up just a bit. I'm gonna go pretty close with these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was 9. You know, I could have, well, not quite 10, you know, but it's 9. I'm not not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Again, my focus is more on hitting those pull-ups behind the back. And from the start of this video already, my count went from 5 to damn near 7. You know, so that's progress in itself. Salute to me. You know, this different type of money, as I always mention. You know, you can't inherit, you know, giving yourself fitness. You may be able to inherit or be given equipment, right? Somebody could pay for a pull-up bar set up in your yard, you know, in terms of equipment, all that somebody could donate to you. But you cannot be given fitness. And if it's given to you by way of, you know, the routes that people take, you know what I'm saying, those synthetic routes, you know, it's not a good look. So, and I'm just saying that just to not go on a whole bash and tirade, because I ain't with that either. You know, I'm here to get it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna hold it. Here we go. It's good. It's good. It's real good. So let's hit these push-ups again. Let's break up the pull-ups. And we're gonna get right back to that bar, y'all. For sure. And that's why, you know, my back is like my best feature. I'm just saying, it could even just be genetics, but I do a lot of pull-ups, even prior to my, you know, surgery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, once I really got acquainted with the pull-ups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. But yeah, like I was saying, um, that's my back is one of my best features. A lot of that's from them pull-ups, doing tons and tons of pull-ups. You know, yeah. And speaking on the post-surgery, right? So when my arm, and let me point this out before I continue saying what I'm about to say. You can see my left arm, which is the one that's injured, is actually bigger and more defined than my right arm. My left shoulder is more bigger, pronounced than the right. You know what I mean? And that could be already from, because there are bigger sides to us, right, with everybody. But with mine, it's more pronounced. And I think a lot of that is due to the post-surgery. And again, interesting enough is that, but like I said, the left, that's the dead arm, you know, letting my secrets out, whatever. But anyway, I've had an injury in my right shoulder before. I've told this story, you know, I'm not going to get into that, but what I will tell you is this, okay? I threw this shoulder out one time, and I had my shoulder, before it got um, replaced back in the socket, it was out of the socket, dislocated for like a few hours, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm not here for the war story. Let's get this money though, y'all. I did a lot of talking on that one, so but this does buy me time to let my back regroup. All right, so we hit these push-ups. Let me get back to these pull-ups because the body is wondering why I've been away so long. So my back is wondering why I've been away from that bar for so long when we on a great path today of progress. So, let's get up on that ball. I'm gonna go a little wider, y'all. Let's see what we got. Okay. 4. Now I went a little wide. I'm testing the waters. It didn't feel bad at all. It felt great. But at that 4th one, I'm listening to my body, and I knew it was necessary for me to just let up. Now the next set, I should say, I'm gonna follow back up with the wide and see if I can increase those reps. So if we could bring that 4 up to 6, why not? Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then each time we increase our reps, whether you're doing whatever exercise, you know, those are the indications that we are progressing, right? So, yeah, let's get back up there right away. We're gonna go a little wider. Let's see what we got. All right. Still was 4. So again, I'm not forcing it. You know what I mean? And if I could only get the 4 today with going that wide, I'm good. At least I was able to, you know what I'm saying, experience with, you know what I'm like, where, you know, how far I could take it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what it's about right now. But when I do go a little more wider than shoulder width, you know what I'm saying, I'm good with that. So, you know what I mean? Test the waters a bit. You know what I'm saying? You have to. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? Because when we talk about taking risk, You know, it don't have to be some, you know, just over the top type of ordeal. You know what I mean? Taking a risk is just adding a little more weight. You know what I'm saying? You know, going beyond a point that you're used to in terms of how you position yourself and things of that nature. We're doing certain exercises. So yeah, you know. And then, you know, you'll surprise yourself. You know, you'll impress yourself. You know, that's what you want to do. You want to impress yourself. Let's get back on that pull-up bar though. All right. I'm not going to go that wide this time. Well, maybe I will. No, I'm not. I don't feel it's necessary. The body doesn't want it. So let's. That was a full 7. That was beautiful. You seen that? That was beautiful. Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, that was beautiful. And then what we'll do is we'll follow up, right, with the overhand, underhand. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was nice. That was nice. That was nice. I'm saying I appreciate all y'all for being in tune. You know what I mean? Salute. You know what I mean? For, you know, being involved with me on this journey and all that. So, salute. Let's hit these push-ups. The push-ups is starting to get jealous. As they should. And that's what you want. When you finish doing one exercise, you want another part of your body to ask for its share of the work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a nice 30. Brought that count up a little bit. You know, a little more in my groove, so why not? Still got to put some, you know what I mean? Some what's needed to feed that physical vehicle. That green light's still on. My indication that we rolling. We got it rocking and rolling. We got it rocking and rolling. It's nice, you know, absolutely nice. The body's responding well, as I expect. That's what we want. You know, when that body is talking to you, you know, that body is giving you its beyond satisfaction. That's what the talk is about. Let's get some push-ups in again. We're gonna get back to that bar now. There we go. Let's regroup. We'll get back on that ball. Give me another sip of agua. And you know, this wasn't my intention to go with the pull-ups behind the neck today. You know, again, this is how the body was communicating with me. You know, I just was like, I gotta get it. It's like the body was saying to me, you must get to that bar because you will. That's me. That's my body speaking to myself. Be so glad you did, in which I am. Let's get it. So I'm gonna go a little wider with this one. So I'm not gonna give up with the wide, you know what I'm saying? So let's see what we got. That wasn't as wide as I anticipated. I felt like it initially, but once I actually grabbed the bar, that's not where, you know what I'm saying, where I wanted to, you know, go with that set. So decided not to, and I'm glad I did. But that was great. And I gave it a slight hold at the end, you know. You can see that. That was a nice set. To follow up. That green light you see, that's the that's the mic. Obviously. You know what that green light represent? We on go. So as you see, I'm pacing myself with this routine. Indeed. Let's get back up there. Give it some time. A lot of tension build up in that, so you know, I want to stay in a good space with that. You know what I'm saying? So when I depart from the park after this work, it'll be a great ride home, knowing that I got to it And I can look forward to my next day workout without any whatever. You get my point. I just don't want to speak certain words. That's all. But it's good. You get my point. We don't want to speak certain things, whatever. So, let's get it though. Yeah, let's get it. Enough of that. Whatever. We here. We got a responsibility. Not quite 7. We was almost there though. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So while we you know what I'm gonna do too? Because I just don't wanna keep going back and forth with the pull-ups and the push-ups. But I'm getting back to that bar, y'all. Believe that. That's the main reason why we here. That is the main reason. So why not mix a little core in? You know what I'm saying? Let's do some core. You know what I'm saying? Just to touch that core. Instead of just sitting around standing idle, you know what I'm saying, which I don't like to do. So even if you're not going full throttle with, you know what I'm saying, a in-between set, or, you know, again, instead of staying idle, get to something else, something, and that's how you do that. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Let's not stand around and not do nothing. Because when you do that, that's equivalent to just sitting there looking at your phone to a degree. To a degree. I can't compare the two exactly. And the reason why, when you're looking at your phone, you just really taking your concentration off of the workout. That's the thing about the phone. That's why I don't even listen to music when I work out, ever. I used to, but not no more. When I jog, none of that. I'm fully, within the work. I'm listening to my body, I'm listening to my muscles, and I'm self-motivating with good thoughts, thinking about whatever. So let's hit this again. 1, 2. I got a bug on me, y'all. That's what I don't appreciate about this time of the year. But at the same time, I do, because that just lets me know that I'm alive and I'm surrounded with life. So I don't want to make it a negative thing about bugs, because this is life, right? So let's get to it. No excuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Not quite 20. That tension build up nice. And my legs is heavy, so when I lift my legs up on that, that's like it's like I got weights attached to my legs. Make that tension more intense when I do that workout, when I do that exercise. We getting back to that bar though, believe that. we're getting back to that bar. Green light is on. We're still rolling. We got it rocking and rolling. These abs is feeling good. I don't want to start giving it too much attention because it'll start taking away that desire to hit that bar to a degree. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was nice. That was nice. So what I did with those, when I parted my legs, right, I'm involving the hips. That's what give you that V taper. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's working all that. Like your lower abs, everything is working. You know what I mean? We're not separate. Nothing could be separated because everything is all connected, of course. But that's really great for that hip mobility, you know what I'm saying, involved with the core, involvement. Yeah, so let's get back to that ball, y'all. We still rolling. And I want to say this too. Speaking of hitting the core, when you involve that core exercise in your routine, when you're doing the upper body workout, it should really hype up your upper body to want to do more. That's the impact of doing the core, which is what is how how I receive basically having more of that upper body, calling, you know what I'm saying, for more work to be done. Let's get it though. You know what I mean? So I don't want to lose track with it. So let me see how I feel. All right. But yeah, let's go. Let me go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at this point, um, until I'm getting that message to go behind the neck again, I'm going to stick with the pull-ups, but it's going to do the overhand for now. All right? So I'm still getting acclimated to doing it behind the neck. Now, with these last few sets and reps, done right now on the footage, we'll see. All right? So I'm listening to my body. So let's see. You know, not as I'm not as fresh on the ball as, you know, when I first started the routine. So, you know, it's all good. It's all good. But I could say I did about at least 30 reps behind the neck collectively with the reps I've done. So that I know for sure. Because you figure 5, 5, 5, that add up. Like I said, it all add up. You know what I'm saying? 5 times 5 is 25 in itself. You know what I mean? So that's 10 sets. You know? Yeah. So when you break it down like that, it sounds like something. 10 sets of 5 is still money. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's. All right. I felt the need to stop on that one. So let's hit that core again. You know, and I'm not even here to really do much per se today anyway. So, you know, I'm just breaking the ice, and tomorrow will be another day. Like I always say, it beats a zero. That's for sure. It beats a zero. Let me bring this in closer. Just a notch. Let's go. It's a great way to hit them abs, hit that core, hit that midsection. And it's a great stretch too at the same time, because you're really fighting it against gravity with that, you know, with that incline bench. And when you lift those legs up, you automatically feel those legs being pulled down, you know? So, yeah, hit them push-ups. Definitely ain't want to overdo it with behind the neck, you know? So, I'm getting reacclimated with performing them in that fashion. So, that was a great, great routine today with that, for sure. And the sun is going down, so the sun gave us that time we needed. It's a nice 30. gonna attempt to go behind the neck again. All right, so let's see what we got. See what we got. You know, I hear the whispers of it saying to me, get back to it. So I shall. Honor thyself. Where we at? I couldn't fully extend. I couldn't fully extend that, but it felt great. So I'm gonna get back up there. I'm gonna get back up there. So I'm gonna count that as one rep. Strong rep though. I was up there for a minute. It's good though. Definitely. So glad I came out. You know. Sure. Another one under the belt. You know what I'm saying? It beats a zero. So not every day is where you're gonna go. Also, too, what do you know? I got the gloves on me, but this time of the year, I rarely need them. I just bring them just in case because, again, like I said, I never know. You know, I feel good one day. I come here, it's a total different story. Then there's days where I feel like I'm not at my best, per se, and I get the greatest workout, and it happens that way. Wow, so it's like that. But you won't know unless you show up. Let's see. Again, I ain't force it, but I gave the necessary effort. That was it. So, and I was sick, so it all add up. Wow, what an evening! What an evening! Let's follow up with a overhand set. It's a nice follow up. Let's get right back up there. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. It's nice. That was nice. Yeah, yeah. That was nice. Still fairly light out here, so why not get some more core? But of course, Yeah, let's go. That was nice. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Great stretch too. Wow. Hitting that core. Your back. Again, that lower back. That hip is involved. It's good money. Can we follow up with them push-ups? That's how we do that. Follow up right after we hit those abs. So yeah, that was a great routine. You know, it's excellent. Again, a milestone for me. Huge, huge. You know, let me make that clear. So tomorrow's another day. And we'll see what that lead up to. You know, we'll definitely see what that lead up to. This week was didn't do much working out. Like I said, I didn't work out Monday and Tuesday. I did a little something yesterday, and here I am today. So this weekend I should really take off in terms of, and not taking off another day of working out. What I mean is taking off and really, you know, going above and beyond, you know, really putting that foot to the pedal is what I'm saying. So this was a phenomenal workout indeed. Like I said, a huge milestone for me. I haven't, you know, done these pull-ups behind the neck to this degree, um, with this level of being comfortable with the bar. And when I say comfortable, of course, how my body feels, and just overall with how clean my reps were. It felt unforced. I didn't have to, I didn't have any, it was no hesitation, you know what I'm saying, with me experiencing anything other than what I sort of expected, you know what I'm saying, again, by way of the body, you know, uh, you know, making that statement of me needing to take this approach today behind the neck with the pull-ups. So this is a beautiful experience. I'm very excited. Just looking forward to further progression, with that excitement. And that's the beauty of, fitness, or it should be the beauty. It shouldn't be, and people do get discouraged, at times. That's normal too. I'm not going to speak as if that's not a reality, but ultimately, this is a way that you can get the greatest joy, one of the greatest joys out of life. Because life is more than just working out. So let me make that clear too. My life doesn't just consist of working out. I'm a father, so on and so forth. I'm a family man, and I love other things beyond just working out too. So with that being said, yo, I'm out of here. I'm gonna catch you on the next go around. You heard? And we're gonna get to it. You know what I mean? Peace.